premium clients and lead their empires with unshakable confidence.
If there are any of you ladies thinking about joining the AQC and working with Carissa, stop thinking about it and just do it. It has been a game changer.
The support, the no judgment zone, as well as the ability to grow through both difficulties and celebrations.
Carissa pours her heart out into creating and giving us strategies, prompts, golden nuggets that allow us to soar.
So if you're a coach or an entrepreneur who is ready to rise and have real mindset shifts, see results financially and personally, and feel supported every step of the way, then this is where you belong.
Head over to www.alphaqueencollective.com.
Hi, this is Mark Anthony. I'm the psychic lawyer, also known as the Psychic Explorer, and I'm proud to be teaming up with Dr. Pat Vasili for our show, The Psychic and the Doc, your practical paranormal power unleashed. And on this show, all subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Tune in, and better yet, call in Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
A quick tip from Jason and Patricia at the Ecosystem Approach Show. This is a way to improve your long-term relationships. As you go through life with your partner, their hurts, resentments, and conflicts are energies that build up. Your relationship holds on to these energies.
Are you ready to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully? Then let go of whatever no longer serves you to take action now on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Erica will energize and excite you to power up your passionate dream that sets your soul on fire. With Erica's E3 approach, equipping, empowering, and enlightening yourself so you can be yourself for yourself. Get ready and get rooted to live a life without regrets, without what ifs, without should haves, and especially without empty feelings from a life unexplored. This hit show helps you build powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go. Get fearlessly ready and powerfully rooted in your yes with your host, Erica Gifford Mills, and be fearless about your more and stand in your yes. Now on Get Rooted Radio.
Welcome, everyone. I am Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go, right here on Transformation Talk Revolution. Listeners, you want to join this live conversation? Just click on the player at ttrnetwork.com and hit the Ask button to send your comments and questions during today's show. And a big shout out, as always, to my producer today, Jessica. How is 2026 treating you?
So good, and so happy to be here, as always.
And I love that you're here. And it's funny because normally January has like 734 days. And I'm sitting here going, it's July 19th already. So, big shout out to Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Thank you for all he did to make the world a better place. And I kind of want to get in today's episode because I'm very excited. Today's episode is titled, It's Never Too Late to Find Your Calling. And I believe this is a very appropriate conversation as we begin a new year. We should never compare ourselves to others because comparison is the thief of joy. And really, we should know that we can begin again or for the first time at any age. So during this episode, I want to introduce my guest, Joyce Foistel, because we're going to really discuss her journey. Her journey starts with helping fellow baby boomers navigate social media. And she launched the social media tour in 2010 and went full-time with the business in 2013 at age 64, discovering work that felt deeply aligned with her gifts. The years since have been amongst the most fulfilling of her life, and she is passionate about helping others embrace reinvention, visibility, and confidence at any age. So as I mentioned, Joyce went full-time with her Boomer social media tour in I believe I said 2010, but I think it was 2013. I might have gotten that date wrong.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
full-time in 2013.
Correct.
When you retired from a 17-year career in sales. She provides consulting, tutoring, and group team training to help business owners, job seekers, and especially those ages 55 and older to use LinkedIn more effectively and productively. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Joyce.
Well, I'm just tickled pink, especially because you're in Wisconsin. And maybe I'll get back just a little of my accent because I've been gone for 30 years. That's how long it's been since I moved from Madison, Wisconsin to Denver, Colorado.
And Madison's a great place to live. I lived there for 4 years. I loved that area. Now
Yes.
I'm not too far away. Now I'm just in the Milwaukee area. So, but what I love it. So I just have to say for all you listening, us Wisconsinites, us Midwesterners, don't think we say bag funny. I know we do, but I don't think we do. It's normal. It's bag. I don't know why people laugh when we say it.
Or just off the boat. Isn't the nasality is what I think is distinctive amongst that
or
Midwest
the up north there, Up north there, But during this first segment, we're going to talk about seeds of a calling. So Joyce, let's take it back to the beginning. What were your career aspirations when you were a child?
Well, I was born in 1948. So picture a little girl growing up in the 50s in grade school and then middle school. We didn't call it that then. It was just grade school and high school, and graduated in 67. So my mother had been a high school home economics teacher in New London, Wisconsin in the 40s, and then quit teaching to have a family. I'm the oldest of four. So I had a lot of relatives on my mother's side who were also teachers. So I figured I'd be a teacher. In that era, typical careers for women were teaching, nursing, maybe being a secretary, working for your family's company. I mean, they were fairly limited professionally. So I was going to go with teaching because it made sense to me.
Yeah. So why didn't you become a teacher even though you were drawn to education?
Yeah, and even got 2 degrees in it because I'm too much of a free spirit. I do not, ask my husband, do well with rules or bells or structure. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I mean, within reason.
Joyce, I have to stop you for a second there. I literally just said that to somebody last night. Is that why am I single? Because I like to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And so I love that you just said that. And so I apologize for interrupting, but
no, that was perfect. A little synchronicity there. Yeah. So, but the other thing I would say is that once an educator, always an educator. Think about it. Once an engineer, always an engineer. Once an accountant, always an accountant. No matter what you're doing over the course of your career, you're, I think, to some extent hardwired into something that is a calling in a very broad way. So I approach the work I do now, which we can get into more, as a LinkedIn tutor. That's why it's tutor. Business Boomer Social Media Tutor is my name. And I do tutoring, coaching, training. And that's because this really harkens back to my origins, as
I love that. So before you started it, you were in a career in sales. How did you find your way into sales?
Well, we had moved here from Madison in Wisconsin in 1995. In the 80s, I was a home mom. I did a lot of volunteer work with the League of Women Voters. In my 20s, I did just a variety of careers, but nothing really stuck. And then in the early part of the 90s, I worked for my church for a year. I had my own business, actually, doing writing and editing for some municipal governments and chambers of commerce. So I had this rather eclectic background, no clear calling after I left my tiny little fling with education. So what happened is I was working in customer service with the AAA here in Denver, and I was doing informational interviewing. What came up by somebody, and it made sense. Hey, she says, you're so peppy, or words to that effect. I think a chamber of commerce could be really a nice fit for you. She didn't say anything particular, but to work for a chamber. So I scouted around and I got the name of the lady who was membership director for the Chamber of Commerce, right where I lived in the suburbs just west of Denver. So it was very helpful. So I had this hour with her. And at the end of that hour-long informational interview, she looks me right in the eye and she says, have you ever thought of going into sales? I said, well, no, Edna, it hasn't occurred to me. She said, maybe you'd be good at it. I says, maybe I would be. What I like, she asked me to take an aptitude test for sales. Can't hurt. So I did paper and pencils, 1996. And so I didn't know the answer or anything when I just left the office. It's been nice meeting you. She calls me the next morning. She said, you did very well on that assessment. Oh, good to know. In fact, she said, I have a job opening here. I'd like to offer it to you. That's how I got into sales.
The world works in mysterious ways.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now you've had the job in sales for 17 years.
Yeah, just different ones. Just to kind of briefly condense them. I worked as outside sales with the Chamber of Commerce. That's where you get straight commission. You get a portion of what the people pay when they join. And later I was with the Better Business Bureau, which was a very similar business model, just a bigger territory, greater Denver area. Then I worked with the University of Phoenix. I worked with the College for Financial Planning. So education sales was the last part of the 17 years. So
it all ties back to education there.
Well,
see?
it does there, especially those last two ones, right?
Yeah. So what inspired your transition into becoming a social media tutor, particularly focused on baby boomers?
Well, it was somebody else. Just like Edna led me into sales, one day in March of 2010, my manager at the College for Financial Planning, where I worked in inside sales as an enrollment advisor, my manager noticed that observed that I was the best of all the inside salespeople, the enrollment enrollment advisors, at convincing our students or potential students to follow us on social media. Think back to 2010, you and people watching this, listening to it. 2010 was really the point that Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn came of age by then. Lots of people were adopting, adding in social media to their marketing mix, including this college where I worked in sales. I love talking about social media. I didn't even realize how much I love doing it. So the manager observed that to me and made that point. He said, you know what, Joyce, since you're so good at getting our students, potential students, to follow us on social media, engage with us, have you ever thought of helping other people, especially in your baby boomer age group, help them understand social media like you understand it? And at first I kind of brushed him off. I'm like, oh, Brad, I know just enough to get them to follow us on Facebook, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, join our LinkedIn group. No, seriously, he really went forward to say, Joyce, you have a knack for explaining social media to people. And I think that you could do this very well. No, he didn't say run right out and hang up a shingle. He valued me as a salesperson, B- salesperson that I was, as I would give myself a grade. But I think he was simply planting a seed so that what I did is 6 months later, I registered that name with the Secretary of State. And it wasn't that much longer after that. I took classes with a local adult education program. I started following more people on social media, getting their blogs. I just kind of inched my way into it. And then when I felt ready, I would ask my friends in Toastmasters, you're a Toastmaster, right? Or you have them, the Communication Leadership Organization. I'd say, hey, would you mind if we spend some time going over your LinkedIn profile? Well, why? I said, well, I'm practicing, kind of like, I didn't use this word then, self-enforced internship. I want to see if I'm any good at it, if you find it helpful. I'm just wanting to get a feel for doing this while I'm still have my day job. And so I did, and it was very rewarding. One guy forced me to take $50 from him, so I did make a little bit of money. So yeah, that's how I worked my way in there. And I found that age group of people born between 46 and 64, the one I'm the older end of, I have a real affinity for that group. And people really like that I'm older, because I'm kind of like working with their older sister or auntie or whatever, depending on how old they are. So it's as opposed to a young whippersnapper that's going to go boom de boom de boom. Did you get that? No, I slow down.
No, and I love that, and especially because if you're not, I don't want to say techie, but techie, like doing I always laugh because they'll say, oh, you did blah 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 blah, and I'm like, you might as well have been speaking a foreign language. All right, let's back it up, and let's start again, and then. Okay, you told me that. Now show me, because I'm a very, as most adult learners are, we're very hands-on. We need to do it and see it, right? To be able to understand it.
So the way I do the tutoring, I'd be like, say, like you and me are right here. Then we'd have your LinkedIn up And we'd go step by step by step by step through the profile. I'll say, okay, let's try this for the profile. Try headline. Put that in. Or how do you feel about that? Well, let's check with ChatGPT. Maybe they got some ideas. So yeah, so we just do the together, real time. So you don't have this long list of things to do later. No, we've done them, most of them.
Yes. And I love that. And I think that's a good segue to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about the evolution of Boomer's social media tutor. So before we go, Joyce, tell folks how they can connect with you.
I think the best way would be for them to go to my website. So you go to www.boomers with an S, Boomers Social Media Tutor, TUTOR.com. And there you can click on the contact button and I'll get back to you, and you can see videos and you can learn a lot, and you can get my free ebook even. So it's a very best website. Yep.
So you heard that, folks. Go out there and check out Joyce's website, get that free ebook. And when we come back, we're going to learn more about the evolution. Thank you so much. You're listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're leading in boardrooms and living rooms, in startups and schools, on stages and in silence. The Lead, Live, and Love Like a Woman trilogy is a bold, unapologetic book series for women who are done waiting for permission. Hi, I'm Erica Gifford Mills, and I didn't create this trilogy to teach women how to lead, live, or love. We are already doing that. We need your voices. Apply now to become a co-author and share your story in this powerful movement. Visit balancesymmetry.com.
Have you ever faced a situation where you weren't quite sure how to handle it with poise, confidence, and grace? Of course you have. We all have. Well, tune in to the Change Mastery Show with me, John J. Murphy. Together, my co-host, Dr. Pat, and I will introduce you to a different way to think about change. Not as something to fear or resist, but as a gift. Join us the second Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Subscribe, share, and start your journey to mastery at johnjmurphy.org.
Are you ready to break free from self-sabotaging patterns and reclaim your power? I'm Beck Nelson, licensed therapist, spiritual mentor, and psychic medium, helping individuals achieve true personal liberation through my Beckology framework. This step-by-step system shifts your mindset, strengthens your intuition, and empowers lasting change. Work with me through single sessions, 90-day or 6-month programs, or explore my courses, books, and coaching. Visit becknelson.com to get started.
Erica Gifford Mills has written the book that is about to change your life. If you yearn to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully, and to finally let go of whatever no longer serves you, then Erica's book, The Rooted Life, Live, Love, Let Go, is for you. Readers will learn about how their values affect every aspect of their lives, why self-care and self-love is a critical first step to stopping limiting beliefs and negative thoughts in their tracks. The Rooted Life, Live, Love, Let Go teaches readers who are ready to unlearn unhealthy patterns to set, communicate, and keep their boundaries, to live with passion on purpose, and to create goals with the intention of putting them into action. Once you pick up your own copy along with the companion workbook, you'll be one step closer to being fully equipped, empowered, and enlightened on your path to be yourself for yourself. If you're ready to plant powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go, visit getrootedradio.com.
Welcome back to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any portion of today's episode, you can catch it on getrootedradio.com. Don't forget to subscribe online to receive the latest news, events, specials, and words of encouragement. Go to getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Joyce Foistel. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Awesome. So during our first segment, we discussed the seeds of calling. So we kind of went through, how did you get from wanting to be a teacher to where you are today? Which I think what I really love about that is that it still has that underlying desire that you wanted to do, the teaching, right? And I think that in all of your work history, right? Your career history, you had some sort of education behind that. And I only bring that up because I think sometimes listeners, you can change what you do. You don't have to stay. Just because you went to school for nursing doesn't mean that you have to stay in the nursing field. You might find that you like something about that. What do you love about it? And how can you change? So I just bring that up because sometimes people think, well, I spent all this time in education, meaning going to school. I shouldn't change. And then you get stuck in a place where maybe you become resentful or anything like that. So just remember, look at your why, look at those seeds of calling to find out what made you want to go into that field to begin with. And then, as we said at the top of the episode, it's never too late to start over. And so I want to talk about during this segment how the evolution of Boomer social media tutor began. So what steps, right? Because I mean, you kind of started it on the side just to see how you were doing. So what steps did you take to prepare yourself for becoming this entrepreneur, this social media tutor?
Well, those are kind of two related but separate questions. Let's talk about the Boomer social media tutor. I wish I could take a camera and show you all the books on this bookcase I have right next to me. Of course, most of them a bit out of date because I started, really 16 years ago on this journey. So I did read a lot. I met other people in the field on LinkedIn. Like there's this fellow from Milwaukee who I'll think of his name eventually, but he found me on LinkedIn, and I had weekly blog he would write, and I'd read it, voraciously. So I'd find these people on LinkedIn, I'd ask a lot of questions, and I did so much on LinkedIn. So we'll get to that in a minute, but that's why I gravitated pretty quickly to more LinkedIn over Facebook. Well, actually within a few years. So I also took classes through, it's called the Colorado Free University, and people of a certain age might remember the phrase free university, meaning the people who teach there don't have to have a degree in anything. If they're knowledgeable and have done it in their day-to-day life, then they can just put themselves forward. They don't charge much, but it isn't free. The classes is free from regulations, you might say. It's not part of a state government or university structure. They had a whole credential there called social media marketing. So that I felt helped give me a little bit of credibility, because at that point, now we're looking at 2010, 11, and 12, 13, you don't have degrees in social media. I mean, you might have them, or maybe a minor or some sort of emphasis within a marketing degree. So it really was very self-driven to find the information that I felt to keep up somewhat, at least, with the changes in the field. So that's the first thing I did. And then I'm going to go back and say this. I asked people if I could practice with them, if I could help. And I chose LinkedIn because I felt much more professional than trying to help them with their Facebook, personal page. That could be weird, right? So, and I didn't know enough about Facebook business pages probably at that point to help them. So I felt I could be more of use to people if I took a platform like LinkedIn, which almost anybody could benefit from.
Yeah, I like that, because you're playing to your strengths, but also expanding your knowledge, right? And
yes.
I think that's really important.
For sure.
So how did you know it was the right time to retire and pursue the entrepreneurial space, this business full time?
Yeah. And then I'll talk more about the entrepreneur part. Well, a lot of things several things happened at once. My husband was going to have shoulder replacement surgery, which is just horrible. Yeah. And I knew he'd be out of work for a long time. I'd have to take FMLA. And I don't think they would have held me to my quota. I mean, you would think not. But something about that, I felt like maybe this is the right time. Probably more importantly, the company where I worked was moving even further away. So I'm in a western suburb of Denver, due west of the city of Denver. And I was working in a southern suburb of Denver, and they were moving further south because so many of their people live further south. And they got a better deal, a better setup, blah, blah, blah. So it was as much that move and the increased commute, which was already 45 minutes after work, maybe 30, 35 going into the office, that those that move was probably the biggest thing. And then knowing my husband, and then why March of 2013? Well, it was because of his surgery. I think the move was a month or two after.
But, and as we said, the world works in mysterious ways, but there are signs all around us to take that next step if we just are willing to look at it, right? So when things fall into place like that, I mean, not that of course we wish by any means your husband had to have, shoulder replacement surgery. However, hey, well, now this is one more sign. This is where some people might have taken it the opposite way and said, oh, maybe that's not a sign because, what is this going to be, a sure thing? Is it not going to be a sure thing?
Right.
And I always say goals need to excite you and scare you a little bit. Right. And I
like that. Yeah.
I mean, because what's that, when you get that butterfly in your stomach and because if it was easy, anybody could do it. But if it scares you a little bit and excites you at the same time, go for it. So
that's a great segue into the entrepreneur piece of all this.
Yes.
I have been entrepreneurial all my life. I'm the kind of person that likes to start things. Oh, when I was working as a health educator for the City of Madison's health department in my 20s, well, where's the professional organization for health educators here in this county? There was none. So this other gal and I put one together. Or now I'm a freelance editor and writer. This was in my late 30s, early 40s. Well, let's form the Madison Area Freelance Editors and Writers Association. I have formed Toastmasters clubs. I have that kind of force of personality, let's make it happen type of person. I like for example, it's called Clifton Strengths now, Strengths Finder. Number one, I didn't have it earlier, but I'm sure it was in the top 10 or 12, activator. I can activate anything to happen if I believe in it and the stars start to align. So I like, again, the freedom, entrepreneur, you set your own rules, set your own goals. I have a business coach who really helps me. I like the energy of being with other entrepreneurs. I learn so much from them. So it's much better than it was okay in my sales department at the College for Financial Planning. And sales itself is sort of entrepreneurial when you think about it. I mean, it's not that big a switch from one to the other. But it's the kind of people drawn to it. They're full of ideas, imagination, and they're a lot of fun. So it's a world that I was really happy to move into.
I think that's great. So when you started doing this, right, you had a lot of stuff going on with your personal life, with your husband and everything. And then just the shift of leaving a stable career to pursuing a more meaningful and purposeful path, which I think is so important, right? Because when that fuels you, that gets you a long way. But how did it feel? Like, were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you excited? Were you all the above?
Yeah, I would say all the above. I mean, first of all, I'm of an era, not all of us, where the men were the breadwinner and the women had the supplemental income. So never did I have any kind of high-powered salary. I think the most I ever made was around $50,000 a year. But again, this is back, 13 years ago. So I talked to the husband though. I mean, what do you think, honey? And he said, just don't go in the negative, because in my earlier business, certainly I had years in the black and years in the red. So that seemed like I could pull that off. So it wasn't like I was going to take this new endeavor on to make a lot of money at it. That wasn't my goal anyway. My goal was to help people understand social media better. So that's how I look at it. And plus, our kids were grown, we'd put them through college. The house was paid off, right? Or about 3 years later, when my uncle died, and that farm up by New London was sold, and he was a bachelor. We got a whole bunch of money. So then that was good because the house was paid off in the second and everything. So I didn't have a lot of financial pressures to earn a certain amount of money. So I guess that's how I would say how it felt. So I never really worried about money.
Well, I love that the evolution, not that it was easy, right? Because it takes time, it takes commitment.
Yes.
And I think the biggest thing too is that you were doing something purposeful.
Yes.
It reminds me, my father, I mean, that's why I started my business, Balance Symmetry, and it's TREE, a nod to my dad. He had asked me, it was right before he passed, he had asked me, do you love what you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm good at it. That's not what I asked. I asked, do you love what you do? Because I loved what I did every day of my life. There were times I maybe didn't like it. I didn't like working out in 30 below temperature and wind chills, but I loved what I did. And you need to do that, because if you don't, you are going to get burned out, even if you're not working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You're going to get burned out. You're going to get resentful, and your personal and professional relationships are going to suffer. And it just reminds me, like, yeah, let's do something purposeful, something that has meaning, something that brings us joy. I would say, live with passion on purpose, and then giving yourself that opportunity to find your why and then go out and get it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about expanding offerings and embracing new tools. But before we go, again, Joyce, tell folks how they can reach you and learn more about what you have to offer and even get a little free gift.
Yes. The website is called Boomers, Boomers, more than one boomer, Boomers Social Media Tutor, TUTOR.com. And yes, please check on the tab that talks about resources, because that's where you can get the gift of an ebook from me, very helpful ebook, all kinds of tips, and you can get on my newsletter too.
Thank you so much. This is Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
What if healing didn't have to be heavy? Welcome to The Funny Kind with Erica. Brings heart, humor, and hope to everyday life. Part deep dive, part stand up for the soul. Erica helps you find the funny, even in life's messiest moments. Because growth is good, but it doesn't have to be so serious. Tune into The Funny Kind and get ready to laugh, reflect, and reconnect with the extraordinary human you already are. Catch every episode and connect with Erica at yourpivotalpoint.com.
Without Fear is a Chattanooga-based death doula practice helping individuals and families navigate end-of-life transitions with grace, courage, and compassion. Death doula Alexis provides emotional support, practical guidance, and space to explore life's deepest questions. Through grief support, workshops, and education, Without Fear is breaking the taboo around death and empowering people to embrace mortality as part of living fully. Visit withoutfeardoula.com to learn more and find a safe space for all things life, death, and the in-between.
Erica Gifford Mills has written the book that is about to change your life. If you yearn to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully, and to finally let go of whatever no longer serves you, then Erica's book, The Rooted Life, Live, Love, Let Go, is for you. Readers will learn about how their values affect every aspect of their lives, why self-care and self-love is a critical first step to stopping limiting beliefs and negative thoughts in their tracks. The Rooted Life, Live, Love, Let Go teaches readers who are ready to unlearn unhealthy patterns to set, communicate, and keep their boundaries, to live with passion on purpose, and to create goals with the intention of putting them into action. Once you pick up your own copy along with the companion workbook, you'll be one step closer to being fully equipped, empowered, and enlightened on your path to be yourself for yourself. If you're ready to plant powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go, visit getrootedradio.com.
We're back on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. As my newest little addition to my kingdom, Princess here is trying to love me up. Sorry about that, folks. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, and you're not watching this on YouTube, my newest addition to the family decided she wanted to lick my face while we came back from commercial break. So we're talking about during this segment, really expanding offerings and embracing new tools with my guest, Joyce Foystel. And so during the last segments, if you missed it, we discussed the seeds of calling and the evolution of Boomer social media tutor. And what I want to get into is one of the big topics, and we'll get to this question, but AI, right? So first, what types of people, whether it's business owners, job seekers, or organizations, have used your tutoring services?
Well, there's been quite a range. And first off, I wanted to briefly touch on when I started the business in 13, I would say the split between Facebook and LinkedIn was probably 40-60. And now it's like, I'll say LinkedIn first, like 95% LinkedIn, and just a tiny percent would be Facebook. So I found over the years, and maybe it's that teacher background, that LinkedIn really suits me. I can keep up with it. Facebook frustrates me. I do the best I can, but it's not my favorite, social media language to speak. But at any rate, or to train on, this is a simple sampling. I'm going to people kind of more top of mind. I would say, and more earlier than not so much now, project management professionals, PMPs. So these are the closest I get to be more in the corporate field, because most of these people work for larger entities. So I've helped them in one-on-one tutoring. I've also done a fair amount of training for like Mile High, PMI, Project Management Institute, one down in the Colorado Springs for the Pikes Peak chapter. So I've done really a fair amount of training for people in that particular profession. Also, I'm going to jump over to job seekers so I don't forget. I've helped them from the beginning, and that is typically around 25% of my clientele would be job seekers of all ages, though more in the 50 plus than under 50. Also, for a time, especially during COVID, I was doing a lot of pro bono work with trade organizations, with job seeker groups, not only here in Denver, but kind of with the whole COVID thing. I've been helping people all around Colorado and California, and I still have a group in California that I help through YWCA in the San Francisco Bay Area. Other types of folks that I've helped over the years are, sticking back to the trade association, like Visit Denver. That was a paid training. They had their whole staff. They replaced a staff meeting with an hour of training from me. Earlier, in the spring of 25, I did a paid training for an insurance company. Over the years, I've also done paid trainings with commercial realtors. It's like a residential realtor. I've done training for like Keller Williams and other groups of residential realtors. But you think about a commercial realtor, they are B2B. LinkedIn is really the name of the game for them. And what else was I thinking about here? Like, coaches, all kinds of life coaches, health coaches, business consultants, anybody who does business development broadly too. And Medicare is, as an arm of insurance would be another, financial planners and attorneys. My favorite newish client since June is a gentleman I met networking, and he decided in June that every one of his new hires would have to have an hour of LinkedIn training with me, and he pays for it. That's a
great.
Sweet gig to get. I'd love to get more Christian West type of people. So he and his partner own maybe 10 advisors, 15. So it's nice. This is not talking Merrill Lynch or anything. So it's people in a smaller business. So that kind of profile. Another good person for me, and this guy also met him through the same networking group as the financial planner guy. Here's a gentleman that worked with Salesforce. So we worked at corporate level, enterprise use of Salesforce as the CRM. Client relationship management tool. And now he has his own independent business where he's broadening it to help consult on all different kinds of CRMs. And so what we've done is spent like 3 hours together, and he's very detail oriented. So we go through his profile and how to use LinkedIn just with a fine tooth comb. He's so eager. He's so happy. Like when we were just talking a little while ago, making that transition from corporate to being his own person. And he knows he's got to show up well, to make money in his new endeavor. So those are some of the people. Some time back, also, I trained some architects. That was another good group. So I would say if there's a broad theme here, it's higher level professionals.
Yeah. It makes sense, especially for LinkedIn, right? Because, people sometimes when they think social media, I should say, not everybody, some people, they think, it's just the thing that you post your life on, right? It's just for fun. And yet, that's not LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is in my opinion, should be everybody's hub of where they go to network, to collaborate, to find business, not just business, but business partners, right?
Yes.
Who can we collaborate to help with? And I love to hear all the different individuals that you've worked with, because that shows that LinkedIn is for everybody. And I think
it really is. I'd say the few people I would probably, like a tradesperson, would be not as apt. Sometimes people in the healing fields, sometimes people in like, I'm gonna say like in the beauty field, probably a personal trainer.
Those make more sense for the Instagram, the Reels, the TikTok,
that is
the Facebook.
The better, exactly. TikTok. That would fit those folks a little bit better. But say, we'll use that residential realtor example again, though, for a minute, because even though they're not likely to find their end user, the person who purchases a home or whatever of that, or a new house person to sell for their house, the point I had a realtor recently that I helped, and we talk about how he can distinguish himself, differentiate himself from the other realtors, and then how he can network, as you were saying a minute ago, within the LinkedIn space. He's a specialist in the senior market. And so I met him because of him going to this big deal last August, the Certified Senior Advisor Annual Conference, where I was a keynote speaker to help people like realtors, financial planners, lawyers, all these people that engage with older people, as well as the folks in the more traditional fields like home health care or senior communities. Anyway, so it helps people really engage within their larger adjacent professions.
Yes, I love that. So you used to do workshops, right? So you used to do these LinkedIn profile workshops.
Yes.
How and why did that change? As we all know, because social medias and different things change. So
well, my business coach was sort of on my case, I'll say that probably, to get another income stream coming in. Something I could do every month, that if I filled up my workshop with 4 people, then I'd get, X amount of money more per month. And she was so enthusiastic about it, and we crafted it together. And I offered my first one, I don't want to say, it was like June of 24. And I filled it for most months until approximately March of 25. And I think sometimes we have an offering that runs its course, and all the people who are interested in it have already taken it. And it was more people who'd been my client and wanted to polish up a profile that I already helped them with than new clients. I had a sprinkling of people that was their first encounter with me. So again, it just kind of was good while it lasted. And then I decided maybe I could do something else with my second Fridays from 9 to 10:15, because it did tie me down in Middle-Lake. So it was a lot of fun. It was very interactive. It was different than one-to-one tutoring or group training. But I think it's important to know when it's just time to hang it up, when something, whatever it is just not
goes
working.
back to the our opening, right? That it's okay to start again. So you didn't start your underlying platform, but you're like, okay, so now this offer has run its course. Time to try something new. And I think, and I don't want to say we're reinventing ourselves, but we're reinventing the way we're doing things and getting our message out there. And I think that's a good lesson for individuals out there, especially entrepreneurs, who it might have worked one way once, things change, and how do we adapt to those changes?
Right.
And one of those big changes that I think everybody's experiencing right now is the integration of AI.
I was hoping you were going there next, because that's where I wanted to go.
In what ways do you integrate AI in your content creation and your tutoring tutorial?
Let's start with my own, my own profile. I have 2 years. Here's one other thing I started as a sort of an offering. LinkedIn newsletters are great. So everybody should know you can do that. You don't have to have a paid account. You can have them weekly, twice a month, once a month. Mine is once a month. LinkedIn Tips and Insights is mine, or I'm pretty sure that's the exact name of it. But at any rate, I have featured on my profile. I have almost 2,700 subscribers, which is pretty decent. I mean, I have 1,700 on my MailChimp, which took me years to get, and I still lose them and I gain them. I don't lose very many with the LinkedIn newsletter. So the reason I'm bringing that up, when I have my monthly edition coming out, if I need some help and composing that edition, think kind of like a blog post, 500, 600, 700 words. I can go to AI. I use ChatGPT as my preferred one, and Chat helps me to write that article. Or it might write the whole article, and then I could just change it up or whatever it is. So I use it in different ways. I've used it to help me with my about section, with my position description, the internal segments of my profile. And I've used it with my clients. I would say the three most common areas with my clients would be the profile headline, the about section, and their position description, especially their position for their business that they have not necessarily their previous positions, because that's in their resume. So we don't usually need it so much there. And I'll use their AI, I'll use mine in real time. Or sometimes if we were kind of running out of ideas, is that let's me like noodle on this. You noodle with your AI, send it to me, I'll noodle with mine, and then I'll send you back, my thoughts. So I feel this is a value added for my people. And I do think my what's the word I'm going to say? Last year was not a great year financially. It was actually the worst in 12 years. So I think that's true. There are a lot of reasons for that, which I won't really elaborate on. But I do think AI could have contributed to that. In terms of people think, well, I'll just go to ChatGPT and they'll help me. Well, that is true to an extent, but will they tell you when you could use another? Can they look at will they go over to your website and will they think, well, you haven't talked about this. Why don't you add the project section? I doubt it. I don't think they are nuanced enough to help you expand in ways that I can do it, because I've worked with well over 1,000 people and I just integrate. I mean, I'm just very, very aware of all facets of LinkedIn, or pretty much all of them.
And it's important, right? Because until you know how to prompt the different AI tools, you aren't going to always get what you need. So so while I love AI and I think it helps, I always think of it as my thesaurus. When I don't, I'm like, oh, I notice I say this word a lot. I need to mix it up and then I would say in my tone, in my kind of words, I need something to replace this because I keep saying this and I need to mix it up. So
that's an excellent use.
Yeah.
And they say your AI sort of sucks up to you in a way, because it's funny. And it is very complimentary. And I've said, I have a voice, and it's the friendly teacher voice is what I like to call it. And so AI knows that. So when AI puts something together, if you work with it, that's the other thing. Don't just like dig around with your AI tools. Work with them regularly, and then it's going to give you, your prompts can start to get better, and you find that it's more robust. I mean, it's more practical and useful, the results of it.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish out the show with It Takes a Village, community, mentorship, and support. This is Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Erica Gifford Mills has written the book that is about to change your life. If you yearn to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully, and to finally let go of whatever no longer serves you, then Erica's book, The Rooted Life, Live, Love, Let Go, is for you. Readers will learn about how their values affect every aspect of their lives, why self-care and self-love is a critical first step to stopping limiting beliefs and negative thoughts in their tracks. The Rooted Life, Live, Love, Let Go teaches readers who are ready to unlearn unhealthy patterns to set, communicate, and keep their boundaries, to live with passion on purpose, and to create goals with the intention of putting them into action. Once you pick up your own copy along with the companion workbook, you'll be one step closer to being fully equipped, empowered, and enlightened on your path to be yourself for yourself. If you're ready to plant powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go, visit GetRootedRadio.com.
Tired of feeling exhausted as a parent? I would love to help you with a new vision for yourself that is focused on intentional wellness parenting. My name is Aurelie Cormier, and I have over 40 years experience with complex cancer patients. I offer consultations, coaching, and educational programs for parents who want to boost their health and reduce risk of disease, especially cancer. For more information, go to AurelieCormier.com.
Are you ready to listen to your soul? Discover the power of pausing and turning in on Our Soul Whisper with Kathy Belmont and Dr. Pat. This sacred show offers a safe space for self-discovery, healing, and soulful transformation. Let your inner voice rise, be heard, and gently guided into expression. Tune in every first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Subscribe now so you never miss the whisper meant just for you. Visit OurSoulWhisper.com.
Welcome back to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any of the information during the last segments, go to getrootedradio.com to listen to the replay. Don't forget to subscribe, sign up for tips and special events and pricing for upcoming speaking and coaching sessions at getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Joyce Feustel. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Tell folks how they can connect with you and learn more about your services and just overall get in touch with you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I say the best way is for them to go to my website, which is Boomers, B as in boy, OOMERS, plural on the Boomers, social media tutor, TUTOR.com.
Perfect. So during the last segments, we discussed the seeds of a calling, the evolution of Boomer's social media tutor, and expanding offerings and embracing new tools. So during this last segment, we're going to discuss how it really takes a village, how community mentorship and support will get you to where we need to be, right, as entrepreneurs in general. But before we jump into that, I want to ask a question on what leads you to continuing to be curious, open, and innovative?
Well, when I saw that question, Erica, the first people I thought of were my mother and my father. When I was in high school in Manawa, Wisconsin, as we're throwing out different towns, my mother would read the books that I was reading and we'd talk about them. She was so curious. She'd read them in high school, but that had been a few years back. So I always thought that was really great. And when my mom and dad moved to Arizona, my mother started learning Spanish in her 50s at the community college. Isn't that cool?
That is so cool.
Learner.
Yeah.
So cool. And then my dad and my uncle, who lived on the farm with us, ran the farm, they were one of the first people in Waupaca County, where we lived, to mechanize the milking systems as opposed to milking by hand. Yeah. So they were really people who were on cutting edge of technology. And I have a brother is a farmer, very similar to that. So I think they're definitely more my dad probably than my mom, the innovative side, but he was very curious too. He always liked to meet people while standing in line at a tourist attraction. And they'd say, "Where are you from?" "Oh, we're 50 miles from Green Bay." You might have heard of them. This is the 60s, mind you, when the Packers were such a phenomenal team.
I love that so much. So and during break, we're chuckling a little bit here because during break, we were throwing out all the names of the small towns where we both know. So it's so much fun when you know somebody who can say, "Oh, I know where that is." You don't have to say, "Oh, I live in Milwaukee." "Oh, yeah. Well, really, I live here." But it's easier when people don't know. So one of the other things that we wanted to talk about during this segment is why it takes a village. So tell us about accountability partners and relationships and different service providers and really just people that have helped you to sustain your business.
Oh, such a good question. Let's start with accountability partner. I had been at a presentation and the lady said, "I have an accountability partner." I talked to her every day. I thought, oh my God, I hardly talk to the husband every day. So it's a little much. Maybe weekly would be good. And no sooner had she put that thought in my head than a friend of mine called me who was in Toastmasters, this leadership communication group. She said, "I've got this new person I met. She visited our club. She's getting her business started as an editor of books and she's looking for an accountability partner." What? Talk about the synchronicity and the dots connecting and all of that. Yeah. That was in the spring of 2013. And she's still my accountability partner all this time. She's in her mid-40s, age of my own kids. I think of her as a daughter in certain ways. You know, I know her well personally as well as professionally. So we talk by phone every 2 weeks, her half hour, then my half hour. Yes, that makes all the difference to stay with it. because they want to get a report. Now, they're going to shame you. It's not like a boss and says, oh my gosh, you didn't hit your numbers this month. No. So that's one person. Then I was for several years part of the Colorado Women in Social Media. So we did a lot of different programming for within ourselves and outside of our group. We'd do panels and like startup days and stuff like that. And I could go to them with any question. That was so great when I was newer to being a social media tutor. And then go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
And the other thing I was going to say, I got a business coach, and it'll be 4 years in May. That has been extraordinarily important to me in terms of holding me accountable, helping me find ideas. She helped me with that idea of this profile workshop that eventually did not, it kind of faded away. But she's always thinking of things, helping me reframe things, and she's so positive. So I'd say that she's really critical. Then you need your vendors, like my website gal. And I'm going through another iteration of my website, and I'm very excited about it. So those are examples of people that are important to have your business have a framework to it.
Now, in a quick, we're running out of time here, but in a quick, I'd say 15 seconds, how does the power of community and connection help you stay rooted and keep growing?
Well, like my mother, I keep learning. When you're part of Toastmasters, business networking groups, all kinds of them, and people who love you and support you will comment on your posts on Facebook and LinkedIn especially. Those people inspire me and I inspire them. So it feels very collegial, and I really get excited about being around them and supporting them.
I love it. Thank you so much, Joyce, for being on our show today. And I want to thank you all for tuning in to Get Rooted Radio. If you missed any part of today's episode or want to listen again, go to getrootedradio.com for the podcast. And don't forget to tune in the first and third Monday of each month at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on Transformation Talk Revolution. And have you been yearning to get on stage? Everything begins with a single decision: to lead like a woman. Your journey starts inside the Women of Influence Accelerator, a 6-week virtual speaking training designed to prepare women to rise, refine their message, and own the stage with clarity and confidence. From there, graduates ascend to the global spotlight at the International Women Speaker Summit, a stage where women from around the world gather to rise, speak, and claim their power publicly. Then we have to let us be visible and show our impact. The journey culminates with a red carpet recognition dinner, a celebration honoring those who have risen, led, and used their voices to create meaningful change. So the accelerator prepares you, the summit elevates you, and the red carpet dinner recognizes and honors you. Message me how you can find out how you can join this movement. And as we close out today's episode, I want to remind you that you are worthy. If you are hurting or need help, please know the world needs you in it, and it is a better place when you are here. Don't let the hard days win. Reach out for assistance by call or texting the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or text HOME, HOME, 741-741 to reach a trained crisis counselor through Crisis Text Line. Both available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and are free. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm looking forward to the next time on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Visit getrootedradio.com if you've missed any part of this hit show, and tune in on transformationtalkradio.com to live fearlessly in your more and powerfully rooted in your unlimited yes. For more information and to work with Erica directly, visit getrootedradio.com. That's getrootedradio.com, and get ready to live it up, love it up, and let it go.